want to share with you first how most of us are doing it wrong. Because actually, this is, if you get it how you're doing it wrong, you don't need the rest of the rest of the day. You can start fixing it on your own. Okay, every mistake that I'm going to share with you right now, I'm going to also show you how to fix it. But first, you need to understand what are we doing wrong, or what most people do wrong. Now, I'm going to share with you 10 of those, and you just want to honestly see, do you do any one of those? Each and every one of those, if you do them, you will pay a price in your business. You will pay a price many times more than what you think you pay for it. Sometimes you just say, oh, you know, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. No. Everything on social media is being amplified to the rest of the world. You make a mistake in social media, everybody sees that. And you don't know what the effect is. So the first mistake that most people do is that they just don't get it. And that's okay. It's a new science. It's a new method. It's a new platform. It's a new medium, whatever you want to call social media. So it's okay that you don't get it. The problem is that those people that are calling themselves experts saying that they get it, and many times they don't. So, if you, for example, post anything on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, blog, whatever it is, if you post whenever you feel like it, you're making a big mistake. If you put what you ate for dinner, where you ate it, when you went to the toilet, how long are you into the movie, what your kids just did today and they just pooped for the first time on their own, and about the party you just got drunk yesterday, if you do any of those, you're making a huge mistake. Remember, on a business level, okay? If you post all those motivational, inspirational messages that everybody is doing it, just because everybody is doing it, you're making a big mistake. If you allow anyone and invite everyone into your networks, if it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever it is, you're making a big mistake. You should be exclusive and you should know who to invite and who to approve. If you put the same update or the same post into all the other platforms, so you put the same that stuff that you put on Facebook, also on Twitter, on your blog, on LinkedIn, etc., you're making a big mistake. Each platform has its own unique characteristics, its own unique way to communicate to people what people are expecting there. Be aware. If you're one of those that trying to rush every time that something comes, oh, there's Pinterest. Oh, that's nice. There's lots of pictures. Let's start using Pinterest. Oh, there's YouTube. I heard about YouTube. Let's put something on YouTube. Just because there's a new platform doesn't mean that you have to rush into it. Those all are symptoms for people that just don't understand what it is. So if you find anything that I said right now kind of, I'm doing it, then I suggest, well, I have 2 words of advice for you. Stop it. Just stop it. Just stop and hold for a moment. It's better not to do and step back for a moment and listen than just doing the wrong stuff, because you are paying a price. Social media amplify everything that gets out of your mouth. So if your mouth is communicating something that is not that smart or not to the right people, social media will make sure that it will go big time. The second mistake, having no strategy and or no plan. Because it's so easy and it's so cheap to open a Twitter account, a Facebook account, a LinkedIn account, whatever it is, then people just go and do that. And then they start posting stuff without any strategic thinking, without any plan. What's the purpose? What's the goal at the end? And how are we going to get to that? By the end of the day, you will know what you need to think about, what's your goals, and what are the best strategies. Okay? The next one, connected to that again, is not having clear goals and or not measuring the results. If you don't have a right goal, if you don't know that you want to go there, you will never get there, right? So you're posting something and you kind of sit and hope that it will create something. I don't like to sit and hope. I don't think that sitting and hoping is a good business strategy. But even having a goal, that's not enough, because if my goal is to get to the door and I started doing some stuff and I need to check myself, am I closer to my goal at the end of the day or not? At the end of a month, at the end of a quarter, am I closer to my goal? But if you don't know what to measure and how to measure it, what are your chances to get there? Very little. The fourth one, I mentioned that a little bit before, but it's important to separate that, is trying to do everything at once. And this is, I want to warn you, because I'm going to share with you today 4 different platforms. But I don't want you to start, if you're starting from 0 today, I don't want you to, on Monday, to start with 4 platforms. It's a mistake. It's better that you will master 1 or 2, and only when you're doing really well there and you get the results, only then you move on. Okay? Also, this way you can save a lot of time and you automate and you get the maximum results. We mastered Twitter years ago. It was the first one that we mastered, and since then, I don't spend more than a couple of minutes a month, maybe, on Twitter. Then there was the blog, then there was LinkedIn, now it's starting to be Facebook, but it's one by one, and I have the resources, I have people that can help me with that. You probably don't, so start small. Start with 1 or 2, master them, and when you get them, do the rest. So if you're already doing very well on LinkedIn, for example, then take today 1 or 2 other ones and start with them. Now, here is something that maybe you don't have the fault of that, but a lot of marketing experts has the fault of that, and especially in bigger company. They're coming to the social media people and they say, what's the return on investment? Show me that there's a return on investment. And social media is not so much about return on investment. Social media is more about what we call ROE and ROA. The ROE stands for return on engagement. What you're trying to get is engagement. You want to get people to participate, to take part in the conversation, to join you in the conversation. You want to join them in the conversation. That's about engaging. And you'll see in a moment how important it is for business, even if you don't use social media. Engagement is the most important tool today to grow your business. ROA is an interesting thing which most people just are not aware of that. There's something that is more scarce than both time and trust. Attention. Thank you. The most scarce resource on the planet today is attention. We are bombarded with messages every single day, every single minute. Would you agree? You're bombarded with messages of everything, especially buy, buy, buy. So, and your clients are bombarded with the same amount of messages. Those are thousands and thousands of messages a day. Why would they listen to you? How do you get their attention? Okay? Before you can even tell them what are you about, what's your product about, what can you offer them, how can you help them, you need to get their attention. And today it's really, really difficult. So the return on attention is very, very important in social media. Okay? How many of you saw the action? We were doing an experiment with the Brad Pitt thing. How many of you were following that? Did you see how we build it up in order to get attention? How many of you got the message a little bit before, maybe 24 hours before, and then we started to build up tension, and you were kind of waiting for what happens? Okay? But if you want, you can always check that on our website. But what we did there is we were trying to see how can we get the highest return on attention. And what we tried to do is to build up certain tension so people will wait for a message, because that's the problem with social media. You need to hope that they will come to read you. So those are more important than return on investment. Do not expect return on investment in the old terms in social media, because you cannot make a sales pitch in social media. And many people are doing the mistakes. They put it on their Facebook, oh, I have a new product, a new event, a new something, a new book. Go get it. Do not do that. It pisses people off. It turns people off. And in social media, they just block you, and you will never know. You will never know. And that's the same on Twitter, that's the same on LinkedIn and everything, okay? You need to build up engagement, you need to build up attention. Selling is happening totally in a different place, which we'll teach you today. A few more mistakes. Mistake number 6. It's focusing on the wrong person. There is only one important person in your business. Only one. And that's your client. For most of you, you are the most important person in your business. It's called a hobby. Okay? As soon as you want to make it into a business, it means that money needs to come in. Since money comes in from clients, then they are the most important people in your business. So start communicate to them. It's all about them. Every single message needs to be about them. Even if you talk about you or your business, it needs to give them something. And if you don't, I'll show you a little bit more about how to do it. I'll share with you more, but just have a look how we do that. Every single tweet, every single Facebook post, every single LinkedIn, every single blog, it's never about us. The more you focus on them, the more successful, the richer you will become. Not just in social media, but social media is big time for that. Connecting to that, number 7 is not adding value. Everything you put out there needs to add value. Remember that. If you've been with us to any training, you heard that again and again, but also on social media, add value. Okay, the next one. Expecting immediate payback. Social media is where you build a relationship with someone. And it's like any other relationship, it takes time. But the nice thing about it is that the longer a person is following you, the longer a person is staying and getting valuable information from you, the more and more they bond with you, the more they trust you, the more they are going to buy from you and to refer you to others. So it's going to start slow, and it's going to grow gradually. I can tell you from my experience, it's grown very gradually sometimes. I'm not a patient person. You will need to do that for sometimes for months or a year before you start seeing real results. But if you will do that, you will be a year from now, you will be very, very far away from where you are today, just because you build up enough critical mass. But if you will decide, I don't want to do that after this day, and it says, nah, that's not worth it because I need to wait a year for results, then in 1 year, you will have no chance because other people in your market are going to do that. Now, the next one is, this is mainly for marketeers. What we hear a lot for people that are coming from marketing, we hear that the social media, it doesn't matter really if it's Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is, doesn't really matter, LinkedIn. We hear about them as what we call inbound marketing, which means people will find you on those platforms and they will come and buy from you. Okay? They will come to you, which is opposite than what it used to be until 20 years ago. The only marketing was outbound, was I'm screaming at you in a television ad, in a newsletter, in an advertisement in the paper, it doesn't matter. A pop-up, I would shout at you, so it will come outside from me, from the business. Here, you're going to find me somewhere, and you're going to come, let's say, to my website. Okay? If it goes only one way, it's a mistake. Social media is not just about inbound. It's also about outbound, which means communicating outside. If you make the mistake in thinking that it's only going in, you'll stay very, very small, and very poor most of the time. All right, the last one, and the last mistake that people are doing, it's not keeping it up. And what happens usually, and tell me if you recognize that, you start a blog or you start a Facebook or whatever it is, in the first months, you're there all the time. You're posting, you're putting, you're finding stuff, you're making it, you're happy, everyone that is liking it or commenting it, you're EP and everything. But after a month, there's not so many results actually in your business. And then from a few times a day, you're going into a few times a week, and then it goes to a few times a month. And if you go 3-4 months down the road, you just forgot about it. It's kind of dry in the desert. Think about social media like you think about a relationship with another person. If at the beginning you're totally in love with that person, and you're putting present there, and you spend time and attention, you go to restaurants together, and you listen to them, and you care about what they say for a while, and you do it for a month, that's going to be great. But if after a month, because you moved in together, or you just got married, or whatever it is, you start getting the attention lower and lower, after 3 or 4 months, you hardly say hello in the morning, and I love you, honey, then how long will this relationship stay? Okay, it's the same in social media. So you need to hang in there and to keep on doing, even if at the beginning you don't see results. It takes time, but that's how relationship being built. In my opinion, one big part of success in social media is making the commitment. Totally active, totally committed for at least 1 year.